China's defense stocks fell like their missiles, but that story is quite different here in India. India's defense industry is on a high. Share prices of drones and missile makers rose by at least 11%. Do you know why? Because of Operation Sindoor. For the first time, made in India weapons were put to the test, and they delivered on two things: impact and precision. From drones to rifles to radars, made in India was not just a slogan, it was the sharp end of the sword. Let me tell you how. Operation Sindoor was a symphony of destruction. Terrorist hubs in Pakistan were obliterated in 25 minutes flat. Pakistan's response was countered with brutal aggression. You may have seen the images of their air bases. Do you know how India delivered this blow? With weapons made at home, like the BrahMos missile. Time, and it was used extensively. It took out several targets deep inside Pakistan. But that wasn't the only punch. A majority of the brute force this time was Indian. We'll start with the drones. Unlike the Chinese and Turkish drones that fell like flies, Indian drones delivered. The Nagastra was fired for the first time. It took out several terror sites in Pakistan. The Nagastra is a loitering suicide drone. It can hit targets 30 kilometers away, and this drone is homemade. Next, let me tell you about the protector of the skies, the Akash anti-aircraft missile system. It took down several aerial threats. It intercepted missiles and drones. It prevented Pakistani jets from breaching India's airspace. The Akash defended every time it was put to the test. Even Prime Minister Modi hailed the indigenous platform.
Operation Sindoor mein
the Nagastra and the Akash were in the thick of action. But Indian innovation played a role behind the scenes as well, like the homemade radar called Swati. It tracked projectiles fired by Pakistan. Indian satellites also played a role. They gave real-time imagery to the armed forces. From swarm drones to missiles to surveillance, it was all made in India in action. And just look at the result. Minimum collateral damage with maximum efficiency. And most importantly, strategic autonomy. No political baggage, no kill switch drama, just operational success. So what's the big lesson here? For decades, India was the world's largest weapons importer. Not anymore. In fact, defense imports are at an all-time low, and Indian defense exports are soaring. They have jumped 34 times in the last decade. More nations are lining up to buy Indian weapons like Armenia, Brazil, and the Philippines. The list will only grow thanks to Operation Sindoor. And I'll tell you why. Weapons are not meant for flashy parades or video edits. They are supposed to perform in real conditions under real threats. The battle-tested weapons are now India's calling card. They have grabbed the world's eyeballs. They're easy on the pocket, they're reliable and deadly. India is emerging as an alternative to the West, to Russia and to China. And now is the time to hit the afterburner. India should go all out on developing its own platforms. The showdown with Pakistan has taught us valuable lessons. First, air power has become the most preferred option. Fighter jets can strike deep behind enemy lines. It happens in a flash, but the message stays for long. Second, drones dominate the battlefield. They can hit targets and carry out surveillance. And third, it is always better to make your own weapons. So what's next? The Indian Air Force needs more fighter jets like the Tejas. The US has delayed engine deliveries, and this has impacted the Tejas fleet. So a jet engine should be India's top priority. That will speed up deliveries of the Tejas. It will also allow India to develop more such platforms. And what about defense? The S-400 proved to be a game changer. It prevented Pakistan's air attacks. Their jets were denied from breaching India's airspace. But the S-400 is made by Russia. They're the only ones who make it. And this platform is expensive. So India needs to build its own. Operation Sindoor was a success story for made in India, and it has sent a signal to the world. India can build, deploy, and win with its own weapons. Why was China so desperate to show it in bad light? because their own defense systems have failed. You see, the S-400 is made by Russia. It has a Chinese copy too, a Chinese copy that is called the HQ-9. And Pakistan's air bases are defended by the Chinese HQ-9. It's a system that has failed completely. The Indian Air Force hit 11 Pakistani bases. So let me sum this up for you. In the last 4 days, Chinese jets, Chinese missiles, and Chinese air defense systems have all failed. So Beijing is trying to save face with propaganda, and that too is failing.